Tony D and Little Joan with a Screenwriter's Rant on the Super Bowl trailers. We're going to take a look at all the trailers that launched in the Super Bowl and see what we can see. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 16, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. I got about, looks like about 8 or 9 of these things. So showing the trailers at the Super Bowl is a little different because people are mostly focused, surprisingly, on the Super Bowl. So they're not totally looking for movies to go see right after, but you know, this is part of advertising. You keep your name out there and hope that people remember you later. So the Fantastic Four First Steps, I missed this one while I was watching the game, but it's the same trailer I already talked about. It's fine, I guess. I mean, for the people who are still on board with the MCU, not particularly great trailer in my view. Not one that's definitely too complicated to show at Super Bowl because people are kind of not paying attention. They're more. I mean, in my case, I was at a party, and you know, I could barely hear anything when the game wasn't on. So, but visually, it's got some appeal. I don't know how much the Fantastic Four resonates anymore. It used to. The quality's certainly gone down in the comics for many, many years. So, yeah, this one is merely okay, I guess. Number 2 is the Smurfs, starring Rihanna. I don't know, man. I mean, I guess for some of the little kids who stayed up to watch the Super Bowl with their parents, maybe this is one. I think the whole thing is terrible, but you know, it's another. It looks like another girl bossy movie, and I don't think Rihanna really connects with the audience, but that's Hollywood for you. Number 3 is Megan. This was a teaser. So they're bringing back Megan again. Meg 3-Ann. There's a 3 in her name. This was always a little creepy, this movie. Creepy kind of in a bizarre way. Like, not creepy like scary, like creepy and like, what is this? Like a giant living doll or something? I don't know. It's like a robot companion that goes nuts. And then it dances to various teenage girl music, I guess. I didn't see the movie. It looked okay. But so they showed a, like, literally, I think this is like 15 seconds. This went by so fast. I literally caught a glimpse of it at the party, and then it was gone, and that was it. And I just thought, that seemed like a waste of money. That seemed like too short of a teaser to get anybody excited about this movie. But so they're tossing that around. They did an ad for the studio. This is the Seth Rogen TV show about Hollywood, and they showed the fake trailer of their zombie movie starring Johnny Knoxville. There he is there. And you know, the joke is that it's a zombie movie where the zombies fart diarrhea in your face, and that's how you get infected. And then everybody in the room is talking about the movie very seriously, and that's the joke. Doesn't really come across, in my view. It just, I don't know. It just seems so unbelievably stupid. Like, wouldn't there be one character in the room who would just sort of reluctantly go along as some people talked about it? Like, people in Hollywood, yeah, they're some of them are pretty stupid, but they kind of know they're working on stupid movies when they see them. I worked on a film one time, and the editor got the screenplay I wrote, and he was like, "Oh, this is really good." And I was like, "Oh, thanks for that compliment." He goes, "They didn't shoot half the movie, but your screenplay's good." Um, so yeah, like they're not that stupid, and I realize it's a satire of Hollywood, but we've done this so many times. When you've done a satire of Hollywood, like you're telling me Johnny Knoxville, a guy who's, I mean, he's got a sense of humor. He's going to sit in the room in the studio and talk about his zombie fart movie like it's a serious movie that's about medical disinformation. I don't think he would, but that's just me tearing apart the trailer. Um, I guess for the Super Bowl ad, the zombie part would have been funny. I think they should have just stopped there. Initially, that's what I saw online. I just saw that zombie trailer uh, piece, and then this isn't a real movie. This is from that TV show, The Studio, and I thought that was pretty funny. But like to have the characters talk about it seriously, and Catherine Hahn's in this, the woman from Agatha, as who she should be. She's a funny character in this, like an annoying, an annoying bee who's complaining that the theaters won't show this trailer. Um, which, by the way, I don't even believe that. I mean, have you been out in society, Hollywood? Oh, right. Um, you know, the back in the '80s, there were theaters who wouldn't show certain movies because it was some of them were too anti-religious, right? Like The Last Temptation of Christ that got all sorts of protest. There was all kinds of movies back in the '80s, '90s that would get protest, and some theater chains would say, "Oh, we're not going to show this." That I can't think of a single movie chain that would turn down a movie that was playable. Now, they've so beaten down, I think, the smaller movie theater chains. They've all been consolidated. What's there, like four of them now? If that, I don't think any of them are going to refuse any movie. So, once again, it's Hollywood playing jokes on this illusionary world that doesn't exist anymore because it only exists in their heads, because all they do is live in Southern California and think about the rest of the country in terms of tropes, because they don't actually have anybody who's gone out there and experienced the rest of the country as it lives now. So, yeah. Then the Mission Impossible trailer dropped, and this just seems like a best of reel for Tom Cruise. I mean, I get it; it's the last movie and everything, but they're showing clips from the previous movies. Tom Cruise looks visibly younger in this shot. I gotta say, he still looks great at 60. But they're wrapping this franchise up finally. I have no idea what's going on, but I assume Tom Cruise will be running somewhere doing stunts. I thought Tom Cruise was gonna be on the Super Bowl. That seemed to be what they advertised. Was he? Maybe I missed that. Spent a lot of time stuffing my face during the Super Bowl party. And the line is, "I need you to trust me one last time." Okay. Hasn't most of the supporting cast been changed or gone off, or are they bringing them all back for the last movie? I don't know. Jurassic World Rebirth played. Rebirth. I almost said reboot, which is really all it is. This trailer was slightly better than the one I looked at, because it was more like, oh, we're going on an adventure kind of trailer. And the way it's set up here, it feels like Scarlett Joe finds a dude to take him over to the crazy dinosaur island, and everybody's crazy for going, and they're going to go kind of on their own, as opposed to the other trailer where it's like they go out and find a dinosaur specialist to go on a mission, and it's more like a military. This one I like better because it feels like more like an adventure. Ooh, we're going to go to the dinosaur island and do some stuff. Like they're just doing it on their own, even though that's not the plot of the movie. So I feel like this plays like more adventure-y. But nevertheless, I've talked pretty extensively on how much I can't stand the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, whatever it is, franchise, because you have machine guns and dinosaurs. Machine guns and dinosaurs. Machine guns and dinosaurs. Do we get to see the dinosaurs killed by machine guns? No. Never do. Because Hollywood won't even kill artificial animals. This one, I'm going to say, is the best Super Bowl ad of the night. This is for Lilo and Stitch. And it's, what's the little alien's name? Is it Lilo or Stitch? I forget. Anyhow, he gets on the field of the Super Bowl and they have to run around and catch him. I thought that was cute. It was different. It wasn't, it's the live action Lilo and Stitch, so you know what the plot is. It's a very unnecessary movie, but I thought this trailer was very effective. When this started to happen, people actually kind of in the party started to watch it a little bit. Like they thought, oh, is there something really on the field? And then it was the little alien guy, and it was like, oh, okay, haha. So clever use. That's a clever use of the character and the millions and millions of dollars Disney has. I don't think it'll be a great film. I think it's just more Disney trying to retread their old hits, but good trailer, solid trailer. How to Train Your Dragon, speaking of unnecessary, this is the live action version of the cartoon. It's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And the weird part about it too is the dragon also looks exactly the same. Like he's only slightly more different than the animation. I don't know. Again, I don't know why they keep doing this other than they have literally no ideas, and people will go see apparently anything. Ooh, I saw How to Train Your Dragon when it was a cartoon. Now I'm going to go see it live. Why? This was a teaser for F1, starring Brad Pitt. This looked pretty intense. And Brad Pitt was in the Super Bowl doing like a pre-game unity speech. So this was probably fairly effective, I think, because there's no dialogue. It's just Brad Pitt showing off his chest and driving around. So it looks cool. It wasn't, again, it was really short. It was just a teaser. This was about a minute. I think the Mega one was too short. This one was about right. This one was about right. I think I would say this one's effective. I would put this at probably number 2. Novocaine, a movie that I looked at in a previous trailer reaction. It looks like a really good movie. This was another trailer for it. Basically the same. It was a little more highlight reel kind of trailer. It's fine. Again, I'm not sure how well it read the room in the Super Bowl. Novocaine, again, it's a bit too complicated to get across while everybody's completely distracted and not watching the TV, but basically he's a guy who can't feel pain and then he has to save the girl of his dreams. It kind of came across. It was almost a little too burdensome. Ugh. But a fun. I mean, this is at all the movies. This is the one I would see, probably. And finally was the Thunderbolts. So, for some reason, starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus as I don't know. I guess she's supposed to be like a version of her VP character because she's the leader of the Thunderbolts, the one that pulls them all together. She's got this blonde streak going. Kudos to her for changing up her look a little bit. So the Thunderbolts is just the worst idea for an MCU movie. To me, it shows you 100% why people in Hollywood still have zero concept of comic books. Zero. And are just burning through the IPs as fast as they can find them in the catalog. Thunderbolts this isn't even the Thunderbolts in the comic, although the lineup changes rather frequently. The original lineup, the idea behind the comic was this. And I've told this before, but let me tell you again. So, Kurt Busiek, I think it was, pitched this idea, and they kept it a secret. Kudos to Marvel for doing that, by the way. It's very hard to keep a secret in comic books. So the premise of the series is they launched this new series with a bunch of seemingly new characters who are superheroes, and they save the day, right? And so, like, for 1 or 2 issues, they're, there's a premiere, and they saved the day, and it's great, and everybody loves them. And then later, it's revealed that they're actually all supervillains in the Marvel Universe, but they've disguised themselves as superheroes in order to sort of get some credibility, and now they're going to use that for their evil plans. It was a great reveal. Totally took the comic book world by storm at the time. People were very excited about it. And then, of course, once the villains revealed themselves to the world and started doing evil things again, it was kind of over, and the story ended. But it was so popular, and this is something that happens in comics, it was so popular, they kept it going. So they replaced, over time, they replaced members of the team, and then eventually it just became another superhero team comic book for some reason. I guess Marvel was trying to do their own version of the Suicide Squad, and that's what this sort of is. They're all kind of bad guys. Although Bucky's not a bad guy. Even in the MCU, he's not really a bad guy. I mean, he was a bad guy because they had his brain rewired or whatever. And then I'm not sure about there's a second-rate Captain America, Red Guardian, Black Widow, and Taskmaster. And okay, let me tell you right up ahead. There's too many girl bosses in the damn thing. So not interested in that. It comes across as strained, forced. And again, in the MCU, these characters weren't even, I mean, Red Guardian, just because David Harbour, I forget his name, is a name. He was in Stranger Things. His character in Black Widow wasn't a good movie. It wasn't a popular movie. A lot of people didn't see it. So to bring back these characters is a weird move on Marvel's part. Very strange move. I could go on and on about why they shouldn't have greenlit this movie, or at least not with the lineup they have. Maybe if you had brought back all the MCU villains and done what they did in the comic, have them pretend to be new superheroes, and then reveal them halfway through the movie, it would have been a fun movie, and you could have had all the or a bunch of the MCU characters fight them, and then half of them could decide to be heroes and the other half could decide to be villains. What do you want, Joan? I'm almost done. Here, get lost. So is it an effective trailer? Absolutely not. One of the things they're doing in the movie, it seems to me, is they're making everything very dark. And I think that's to show, they're dark characters. Something like that. I think visually that's what they're going for. And the whole trailer is just drudgery to look at for the eyes. It's just drudgery. This movie is coming out in May, I think. I don't know who's going to see this. Really? This is one of your big plays? You think Sebastian Stan and David Harbour and what is that? Florence Pew, who? They're not that big box office draws. No one is. Tom Cruise is. He's the last movie star. These guys, they're not movie stars. David Harbour has been in like a bunch of movies that sort of came and went. Sebastian Stan, this isn't even his crowd anymore. You know, maybe for Bucky you could have pulled that off. If it was a more hopeful movie. The rest of the characters, I don't even think most people could pick them out of a lineup, much less remember who the hell they are in the MCU. This just seems like, well, these are the last IPs we have, and we have famous people connected to them, so let's just run these guys again. So, very ineffective, long, boring. I don't know who's going to watch this damn movie. So, I would put Lilo and Stitch at the top as the most effective trailer. For the movie that I'm most interested in seeing, that would probably be... Where is it now? Probably be the Novocaine movie. I gotta find it. There's too many freaking ads. Yeah, there's Novocaine. Novocaine looks the most interesting, although not because of the ad. I guess the worst one probably... Well, Megan's kind of the worst one. Just because... I don't know. Like, for some people, for people who didn't watch the first movie, I think they would watch this and go, what the hell is this? It just was too short. Very short. And I didn't find it very effective as a movie trailer. You know, maybe if they were advertising a doll. The studio definitely didn't work for me. You know, The Simpsons did a Super Bowl ad years ago, and that was pretty funny. I mean, there's a way to do comedic trailers, you know, where the characters interact with the Super Bowl or something. And, you know, this was just so generic comedy. I can't tell you how many times I've personally written bits like this. I mean, that's how old this bit is. Like, the movie within a movie. So many movies are this terrible. Have you seen the clip of Amelia Perez? That's the movie that should be in this TV show. A movie that's so insufferably woke and stupid that everybody has to pretend to like it. That would be an amazing scene. That I would put in my book, Hollywoke, Another Novel. Did I do a scene like that? No. I don't think I did, but a lot of the book has jokes like that. There's a running gag where the secretary in this one office is always changing, and each secretary is more woke than the next. Like doing a thing about, and the joke completely relies on people being outraged by something. They're just not outraged by diarrhea zombies or whatever. Mission Impossible is probably the most anticipated of the trailers. People are very excited to see this, I think. That's overblown, I think. This is the most unnecessary. How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, it's so unnecessary. At least the Lilo and Stitch movie is going to have The Rock in it, which will give it some mileage, but even this is very unnecessary. Formula One, or F1, looks solid. Looks solid enough. Probably, again, the second most effective ad. And I would probably put Thunderbolts on the bottom just because it looks so... It was long. It looks boring. I gotta think people watching it would go, what is that? Like, they don't even know to connect it to the MCU. There's no other MCU characters in it other than Sebastian Stan. And look at him. He fades into the background. Like the most basic tenet of filmmaking, and they break it here. They put all the characters in black and put them in front of a black building. At least light them so you can see them. At least, I don't know, have some spotlight here that fell and it's still on and it's blaring out behind them, and then you could see these people, or put them in front of a different building. Put some damn lights on the set. God, it's infuriating, isn't it? I just can't stand it when they spend millions of dollars on a movie and it's just terrible to me. It's just terrible. How do you spend that kind of money and it's not awesome? I just don't know how you do it. How could this not be the most awesome shot in every single frame with the kind of money you spend? How are you spending this money? Ugh, frustrating. Anyhow, that was the trailers on the Super Bowl. Yeah, I think I'd put this and Megan on the bottom, Lilo and Stitch and F1 at the top, and the rest are just sort of meh, trying to watch the game. I think I'd put this as special bottom mention for the studio commercial, just because I think they would have got people in with the fart zombies. If you haven't seen it, it's gross. But and then cutting to people talking about the fart zombie movie, I think you would have lost them. Because people are barely here's a secret, Hollywood. People are barely paying attention to the Super Bowl movies. The Super Bowl commercials. I know it's like a big deal to have a Super Bowl commercial. Oh, go see a Super Bowl commercial. First off, now people see them ahead of time. You put them on the internet. I've seen almost all of these ahead of time before the Super Bowl. I saw the When Harry Met Sally one. Saw a couple other ones. Who cares? I didn't even hunt them down. People were like, oh, you gotta see the commercial. Gotta see the commercial. No, I don't. I don't care. Who cares about the commercial? I barely care about the game. If you care about the commercials, there's something really wrong with people who I think are excited for commercials. I think you should really re-examine your life and your priorities that you're excited about a commercial. Unless, and I'll put, unless it's super amazing. So like Budweiser had like a bunch of Clydesdales in their commercial. I wouldn't call it super amazing, but I understand why people like that commercial, because they like to see beautiful animals running around. So that was a nice commercial. But they also had the Budweiser commercial with the Bud Light commercial with Shane Gillis and Post Malone, to which I was just like, it's just a freaking commercial. Who cares? And everybody tuned out for that one, by the way. They'd already seen it. So for movies, I think you need one of two things. Number one, you should premiere a trailer at the Super Bowl. Like that used to be a thing. I don't think any of these trailers were premiere, except for the teasers, and they don't really count. Who the heck, that's not enough of a trailer. The teaser, I really hate the teaser. I get it why you make it. Sometimes commercial breaks are very, very short, and you need a 15-second bump. Okay, yeah, make them, but like pushing the teaser as a thing, I think has to die. But there's really no premieres here, except maybe the Tom Cruise one might have been a premiere, but it was all clips of his old previous Mission Impossible movies. There's barely a new clip in that thing, and then the real trailer will come out later. Like, how long do you drag this out? How many versions of the damn trailer are you gonna release? Just release one good one. One good one is all you need. That's really all you need. Ooh, that looks like a good movie. I think I'm gonna see that. Hey, let me watch that good trailer again for the movie that I want to see, that I'm very excited about. I'll watch it again. That's how it used to be. They would cut a really, really good trailer. All right, I'm done ranting. That was the Super Bowl. That was their damn trailers. I hope you enjoyed this special edition of a Screenwriter's Rant. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. I got to get up to Jackson, where I'll be doing an event on how to hunt the Jersey Devil at 3 for the Sunrise at Jackson folks. That's for residents and family. If you are not residents or family, you should definitely call ahead to see if they allow any outside people. I'll be back later with some more videos. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.